More prayers were intoned as two acolytes rolled the carcass over. With slow precision, the knife was drawn up the belly, skin and ribs pulled back and heart and liver exposed. The Emperor looked on, kneeling, his arms outstretched, tears welling, a picture of grief in the classic mode as depicted by many a famous actor. Between them, the priests removed both heart and liver. The former was set civiling on the growing flames, whilst the latter was placed on the altar next to the fire. All watching held their collective breath. Proceeding slowly, so as to build the tension, the priests wiped the blood from their hands and forearms before patting the liver dry and then returning the cloths to the acolytes. Now was the moment all had been waiting for. Now the time had come to examine the liver. Nero shuddered, his body racked with sobs as he looked to the sky, grey and brooding, through a window high in the back wall of the temple. He lifted his right arm and slowly clenched his fingers as if trying to grab a hidden thing from out of the air. Veneration grew on the countenances of the two priests as they turned the liver over, examining it minutely. Nero began to whimper with tension. Having scrutinized both sides twice, the priests looked to one another, nodded, and then turned to the Emperor. "Divine Claudia Augusta has been accepted by the gods above, and now sits in their midst," the elder of the two announced, his voice weighted with reverence. With a gasp, Nero fainted, his arms carefully ensuring that he did no damage to his face as it hit the marble floor. The assembled senators broke into cheers of rapture and called on the new goddess to hold her hands over them. "We should be very grateful to the gods for accepting their latest little colleague," Gaius observed, without a trace of irony, whilst wholeheartedly joining in with the applause. "Perhaps now Nero will have his mind free to concentrate on the business of government." Sabinus slipped the fold of his toga from his head as the religious part of the ceremony was now concluded. "I hope so. He hasn't heard one appeal or taken a petition since construction of this temple began. I've at least 100 convicted or accused citizens from all over the empire awaiting their chance to appeal to the emperor scattered around the city. It shouldn't be the business of the prefect of Rome to be acting as a jailer to common criminals, even if they are citizens." Peters frowned as he too uncovered his head. "Prisoners have always been the prefect's responsibility." "Yes, with the help of one of the praetors, but never so many at once. Normally no more than 2 or 3 at any one time if the emperor hears the appeals on a regular basis. I've had that odious little Paulus of Tarsus causing no end of trouble, writing his filth in letters to all sorts of people. My agents intercept and destroy most of them, but some slip through. When I challenge him about it, he says that until Caesar has passed his judgment upon him, he has the right to write to anyone he likes, even if it's seditious and attacking the very laws that he's hiding behind, our laws. But with Nero back, I'll soon have the runt off my hands, and, well..." Sabinus glanced with regret at his son-in-law. "It also means you'll have to face him." "I was hoping he hadn't noticed that I was back from Armenia," Peters confided, scowling. His boyish face had been weather-beaten from campaigning in the east, making his pronounced front teeth seem even whiter. More thoughts on the subject were cut off as Nero raised both arms, asking for silence that was soon apparent. The emotion of the occasion was too much for him, and for a while he stood there, breathing deeply and giving his best expressions of relief. "My friends," he said at last, gathering himself, "what a thing we have witnessed here in this place. I, the son of a god, and the great-grandson of a god, have now become the father of a goddess. I, your emperor, have divine seed." He turned to his freedman, Epaphroditus, and held out a hand. "My Kythia." From behind the altar, the freedman produced the 7-stringed lyre that the emperor had been studying for 5 years now. "In honor of the day, and in praise of my divine daughter, sprung from my loins, I have composed a paean of thanksgiving." He plucked a chord and attempted to sing a note of similar pitch without noticeable success. His voice, husky and weak, struggled to fill the chamber. Sabinus grimaced and braced himself. Gaius looked around anxiously for a seat. There were none. With 2 more chords that had no business being played in conjunction, Nero launched into a dirge of disharmony, erratic scanning, and stretched rhyme. On he went, verse after verse, as the senators stood, listening with the intense looks of those who consider themselves to be in the presence of genius, and are unable to believe the good fortune that had brought them to that place. But in this they were all experienced. For the past couple of years, Nero had been shamefully performing